Thank you so much. Oh, wow, you guys have been sitting for a while. Okay, so everybody's here to support the graduates. What I want you to do is on the count of three, I want you to say, we love you, we're proud of you, and then whoever graduate you're here to support, okay? So if you're here to support John, we love you, John, we're proud of you, John. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Absolutely. How amazing is that? I have to say that I am so, okay, Devanya. I have to say that I'm so incredibly excited to be here today, but it's probably not why you're thinking. Class of 2016, do you guys remember those days when something happened and you didn't have to go to school? Maybe there was a holiday or a field trip, or the Prince of England was coming to visit, or BC was load shedding so the current went off. But whatever it was, you got a chance to stay home from school and do something fun for once. That's exactly how I feel right now. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here and to get from behind my desk and share this moment with the most special, amazing, exciting, awesomely cool class of 2016. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving me the day off. Thank you to Principal Nixon and Ms. Bodine Johnson for this humbling invitation to reflect and to celebrate the accomplishments of these outstanding students, and hopefully to shed a little bit of light on the road ahead. I also want to take a time to say thank you to the dedicated teachers. Where are the teachers of L.W. Young? Just give us a wave real quick. Thank you so much for pouring your hearts and souls into our kids day in and day out, hoping and praying to make a difference. We recognize that we don't say thank you enough, but also that we may never be able to. Know that we see you, we recognize your service and your sacrifice, and we're very appreciative. Of course, we have to recognize the people who today is really about. Sorry, class of 2016, but we want to say thank you to the mothers and the fathers and the brothers and the sisters and the aunts and uncles and cousins and neighbors and family friends. You've walked this journey with them for 12, 13, 14, 15 years. You know, we live in a time in the Bahamas where we often pray for our children's safety and their well-being even more than we pray for their success. And yet every day we get up and we send them out into the world hoping that they find some sort of connection that keeps them on the right path. But guess what? Look at them today, they've done it. Congratulations on a job well done. I get the opportunity from time to time to speak in different forums, and each time, much like today, some poor soul is charged with the task of crafting my introduction. It's always very interesting to listen to how people describe you based on what they think is important. Sometimes, much like today, these introductions are so well written that I'm even a little impressed with myself. But if you were to ask me, my biggest accomplishment is not found in those biographies. But certainly it plays a major role in why it is that I'm so excited to be here today and why it's extra special for me. I don't have any biological children, but for 17 years, I have been blessed with the opportunity to help in the raising of 3 beautiful nieces. I've seen them grow and develop into truly remarkable young women, and it has been my best work to have the opportunity to pour into their lives all the love and the wisdom that I may have, to help to guide them through their successes and their failures and their triumphs and their disappointments, and to celebrate those special moments in life that I hope they will cherish for a lifetime. One of my nieces, Danielle Brown, graduated from the Doris Johnson High School last week. And the other, Deaja Brown, sits with you today. Let's wave Deaja. Oh, she's embarrassed. I'm embarrassing her. But she sits with you today as a class of the L.W. Young class of 2016. I love you girls more than you could imagine. I am proud of you no matter what, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of your story. And so today holds special meaning for me because of Deaja and also because of each of you, class of 2016. Despite what may be apparent, I can still vividly remember sitting in your seat. I look into your eyes and I see reflections of my own. Searching for your place in the world, trying to figure out how you fit in, and sometimes, most times, feeling like you don't. Still yet wanting to do well and to be well. Finally becoming aware that mommy and daddy aren't superheroes and food doesn't just magically appear in the cupboards. You begin to understand that your existence and your survival was a result of their hard work and their sacrifice for your well-being. I was born in 1977 to a 20-year-old single mother. In a lot of ways, I can imagine that she was still searching for her place in the world as well at that time. All I remember of my beginning years was her working, day in and day out, 2 jobs, morning to night, to provide me with every single opportunity that she could. I would leave primary school and go to my grandmother's house in Yellow Elder while my mother went to her second job, and she wasn't able to collect me until she got off, sometimes 9, 10 o'clock at night, sometimes later. My story is true for a lot of you in some ways. And so at the outset, I need you to understand that I get it. I understand who you are, and I understand where you are. I wasn't the best student. I was a C student at best. I wasn't interested in service or sports or clubs. All I wanted to do was get to my grandmother's house, hang out with my Aunt Ginger and my neighborhood friends, and party and have fun and play until my mom came and got me. And then there was all the things that was going on the inside. You see, puberty wasn't very nice to me. I was really tall, always very tall and very, very, very skinny, and I had really bad acne, and I had a very large head, like a lollipop. And I had a big nose and big lips and big ears, and the students used to tease me. They used to call me Dumbo, the force of freedom. And so at 13, 14 years old, I was very much where you are, searching for my place and my identity. I remember we moved to Freeport, and our neighbor had an old boat in the front of their yard, and it was a junk boat. It had been there for many years, probably hadn't been in the water for a while, but there it stood. And then one day, one particular summer, my cousin Sean came to visit for the summer. And so we did all the fun things that boys do in the summertime at that age, and one day, somehow, we ended up on this boat. One thing led to another. And before I knew it, we were breaking up this boat. Anything that could be broken on this boat, we were breaking it. We were taking sticks and rocks, and we were destroying anything that we possibly could. And my mom is here, I'm sure she remembers. She told me one time, she's like, now that boat was sitting there all that time and you didn't touch it. And now all of a sudden Sean comes and you want to go ahead and cause damage. And she was right. But it wasn't about the boat. It wasn't about being mischievous. It was about Sean thinking that I was a punk if I didn't help him break up the boat. It was about me wanting to fit in and wanting to be cool and craft an identity for myself based on what he and what others thought of me. And then shortly after my 14th birthday, something remarkable happened that changed my life. House sports was rolling around, and I don't know if the rule here is the same, but at my school, Catholic High, Grand Bahama Catholic High School in Freeport, the rule was that every single student had to participate in house sports in some way. And so I signed up as an alternate in the 200 meters, and that was to be the extent of my involvement. I really wasn't interested at all. And so we had some really, really good athletes in my house, so there was no need for me to believe that there would have been a reason to call me. So I come to house sports that day in my red Lucayan t-shirt and my khaki shorts and my best boat shoes, and I'm ready for a day of chilling and spectating on the sidelines with my friends. Well, of course, as fate would have it, for whatever reason, someone couldn't run, and so the team captain goes off searching for the next person whose name was on the list. Me. So fast forward to a short time later, and here I stand on the track in my red Lucayan t-shirt, my khaki shorts, and barefoot, because there was no way I was messing up my boat shoes on that track. And in the lane ahead of me was Dion Archer. Now, Dion was one of the fastest boys on the island. And I'm standing there, and I'm looking at him, and he's in his track outfit, and he has on his track spikes, and he has his starting blocks, and he's doing his little pre-race routine. And I'm looking at him, and I'm wondering, how the hell did I get here? And so I'm assessing the situation, and I'm like, look, if I'm going to spare myself any modicum of embarrassment, I need to start thinking this thing through. So I start thinking, okay, so you got two lines, you got a lane. How am I going to run and stay in these lanes? I guess I'm going to have to look at my feet to see where I'm going. And so when the gun goes off, I'm just going to, look at my feet, look down, and move my feet as quickly as I can until I get to the finish line. Oh, wow, the gun. I wonder if it's real. I sure hope he doesn't shoot anybody. I sure hope he doesn't shoot me. My team seemed really happy for some reason, and I couldn't figure it out because I was just really tired. And it took me a while to realize I had actually won the race. Wow. Now this was different. This was something I hadn't felt before. Looking back on it now, I realized that what I was feeling in that moment was pride. I was proud because I had accomplished something based on my gifts and my talents, and everyone around me was celebrating that. In that moment, at 14 years old, it was no longer about being awkward or ugly, about feeling unintelligent because my grades said that I wasn't smart. It wasn't about wanting to be cool or wanting to fit in so badly with or impress my cousin or my classmates or my friends around me. In that moment, it was recognizing that perhaps I had a talent, a God-given talent. I had a place and a purpose in this world. And it was inside me all along. All I had to do was find the right opportunity to tap into it. After that, it was all over. My grades improved, and I started participating in clubs and events, and I began public speaking at that time and got the opportunity to speak in front of crowds of thousands representing my school and my country abroad. That one moment at 14 years old changed the entire trajectory of my life. And certainly it was the start of a life's journey that led me to become the CEO of my successful company here in the Bahamas, and certainly has given me the opportunity to stand here and speak to you today. Okay, so I went on to win 2 other races that day, barefoot and in my khaki shorts, and every other subsequent race for the next 3.5 years, both nationally and locally. After high school, I received a full track and field scholarship to attend the prestigious University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where I completed my Bachelor of Arts degree, 100% free of charge. Despite everything that's going on in our country today, we still live in one of the most amazing times in history. My high school graduating class, the Catholic High, was the first in my school to use computers that had a Windows operating system. Before that, there was no internet, there was no Cable Bahamas, there was no 100 Jams. We depended on our teachers and the Encyclopedia Britannica to clue us in on what was going on in the world around us. Now today, the entire world is literally at your fingertips. At a click of a button, you can connect to persons around the globe, and you can be exposed to new ideas and cultures and ways of thinking and mindsets. You have a unique opportunity to craft a vision for your life that's not just confined to what you see here in the Bahamas from day to day. Your greatest benefit, class of 2016, is at 12, 13, 14 years old, you have the option to connect to the notion that even in the grandest scheme of things, who you are matters. You were placed on this earth as a beacon of light to illuminate just a little bit more of our humanity. Your life makes a difference to me and to everyone around you. It doesn't matter where you come from or what your economic background is. Who you are makes a difference to us. The decisions that you make about whether or not you're going to be a good person or not, whether you're going to embrace education, the people you choose to hang out with, how you approach and resolve conflict, all of these decisions don't exist in a vacuum. They affect all of us. And we need you, all of us, to show up and give us your best. I suggest to you to understand me clearly. It's not about the grades. It's not about the accolades. It's not about going to college and having a great job. All of those things will come. But I suggest that you not focus on what you want to do, but who do you want to be? What kind of father do you want to be to your children? What kind of wife do you want to be to your husband? What kind of employer do you want to be to your staff? What kind of student do you want to be to your professors? What kind of friend do you want to be to your peers? What kind of citizen do you want to be in the world? Your life has meaning beyond what may be immediately apparent. When I stepped onto the track at 14 years old, I didn't know what awaited me at the finish line. But I knew certainly that I had to search for something deeper and truer and more meaningful than what I had seen. Because my life and your life matters. Now, I've been to enough graduations, let's be honest, to understand that more than anything that I've said or will say, your biggest interest in me is being brief. Let me tell you how much I understand that. So last week, I went to my aunt and uncle's house, Bishop Joseph and Estella Zornical, after my niece Danielle's graduation. Uncle Joe is what, Tiaja? He's about 96, 97. Anyway, Uncle Joe was old when I was young. And so he's a retired Baptist bishop. He's a little hard of hearing, but these days he sees every single opportunity as a chance to spread the gospel. So what happens is, a simple hello can easily turn into an hour-and-a-half long conversation about Jesus and the direction of your life. Now that I've laid the groundwork. Last week I'm at his house and waiting for the food to be served, and he glides into the room. As I'm sure you do when you approach your 100th year on this earth. You no longer walk, you glide. So he glides into the room, and he greets me with a smile and a hearty, "My son, let me ask you a question. Do you know who you are?" Oh boy. So now I have a decision to make. Do I make up some excuse and cut the conversation short and make a quick getaway to my car? Or do I stay and engage him and wait for the food to be served? Well, hunger trumped all, as it usually does, and I decided to engage the conversation. About 30 minutes later, Uncle Joe gave me what I think was perhaps some of the most valuable nuggets of wisdom that I have ever heard in all my years. His answer was simply, "You are the crown jewel of God's creation." Imagine that. Imagine all that you think is wonderful and magnificent and awe-inspiring and amazing, and consider that out of all of that, you are his best work. It doesn't matter your circumstance, your background, what your grades say, who your parents are, how much money you have in the bank. It doesn't matter. You are here because the creator of all that is and was and is to come, the omniscient, the everlasting, the Most High God blew into you the breath of life. Is the power and the purpose and the possibility to be excellent. Being human, class of 2016, is a privilege afforded by God's grace. Doing your best is not an option. It's a responsibility. There is no limit to what you can do. Certainly, there's no limit to what you can become. Every day, with every breath, is the opportunity to do and to be better. And so today is a good day. Today is a good day. Today is the first day of your future. Welcome. We've been expecting you. Go with God.